Hi! In this unit, we'll be learning about the process of design. So at this point, we've gotten really good at building things with code, whether that's websites or animations or programs. And now that we have those skills, in this unit, we'll dive in and learn how to decide what exactly it is that we should build. So what is the problem that we're trying to solve, and what exactly should we make to solve that problem, and what should it look like and feel like? How should the user interact with it? These are all questions that fall under the umbrella of design. So in this unit, we'll get a crash course introduction into the process of design thinking, how to think like a designer and solve problems like a designer. So you may be familiar with this, but computers actually used to look like this. Websites used to look like this, and cars used to look like this. These tools that we're now relying on every day used to be a lot clunkier and harder to use. Over time, we've improved the designs of these tools. So we've added monitors and keyboards and mice to computers so that they're easier to use. We've added much better user interfaces to websites so that they're easier to use. We've added engines and steering wheels and brake pedals to cars so that they're easier to use. All of these improvements have been a result of design. So the tools that we now use have changed drastically over time because we've gotten better at designing tools and solutions that truly help people. So how can we get started designing? What would our own design process look like? Well, introducing design thinking. Design thinking is the creative strategies that designers use to create experiences and solutions to problems. Now, the design thinking strategies that we'll be covering in this unit were developed and refined over at the Stanford Design School, or the Stanford D School. And there's a link to the Stanford D School right here. So the credit for all the ideas and practices that we'll be employing in this unit really goes to the good people over at the Stanford D School. So David Kelly, Tim Brown, Thomas Both, Dave Baggerer, Jeremy Utley, Scott Dorley, George Kemble, Perry Claiborne, Mark Hanlon, Janetti Choan, and Bruce Boyd. So thank you to all these people, and thank you to the Stanford D School for providing resources and instruction on how to carry out the design thinking process. So with that, let's dive into design thinking. So the Stanford D School has actually broken down the design cycle into 5 different modes or steps. And those steps are empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. And in this unit, we'll really be doing a deep dive into each of these steps and employing them to a problem of interest. So let's talk about each of these steps a little bit more. So the first step is to empathize. We need to gain empathy. The reason for this is we need to understand the people for whom we are designing. To really solve their problem, you'll need to build empathy for who they are, what is important to them, and what exactly is the problem that they face. We need to question our assumptions and put ourselves in the user's shoes so we can solve the problem that's actually facing them. Once we've gained empathy, we then move on to the define step, where we actually define the problem. So in this step, we'll unpack and analyze the findings from the empathy step to define a specific problem that needs to be solved. Once we've framed the problem and we have a nice definition for the challenge that we're taking on, then comes the ideate step. So we need to ideate potential solutions. So the ideate step involves brainstorming several very different solutions to the problem that we've defined. And here we're going for quantity over quality. We want to flare out and come up with as many ideas as possible. Next, we'll move into the prototype mode. So we'll condense our ideation stage, pick out a few solutions that we think are worth pursuing, and get these ideas out into prototypes. So prototyping is getting ideas out of your head and into the physical world. So prototyping involves picking a few ideas and quickly creating them in a physical form so we can play around with them and test them. Once we have prototypes, we move into the test phase, where we actually test out our prototypes with real users. So testing is your chance to try out your solutions and get feedback on them. And here it's very important to keep a growth mindset. And that means we need to embrace failure. We need to recognize failure as an opportunity to grow and recognize where our miscalculations were, where our misunderstandings were, and use those to improve our understanding of the problem. So the point here is to fail. We want our prototypes to break and point out the issues that we had with our initial solution so we can improve it and make it better. And then lastly, the last step is to repeat. This is a cycle. So it's presented here in kind of a linear fashion. We're going to go from step 1 to 2, 3, 4, 5. But really, when you're designing, you can really be hopping around all over. We can build prototypes in order to gain empathy. Or maybe once we test, we realize we need to go back to the drawing board and do another ideation session. So really, after we take one lap through this cycle, it's important to go back and iterate on our solution, take it through all these steps again, so we can really improve our design and be confident that what we're designing is a positive solution to the problem. So let's dive in and give it a try.